realized my headphones were on backwards. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm playing Ben Jordan, Paranormal Investigator. I want to check my levels. Test. Okay, cool. So I was going to play 5 Days a Stranger, which is part of the Chizo mythos. Just gonna mute that audio. Okay. I just had the realization that I was speaking, but I had my mic turned all the way down. Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Okay, so let me get back to this. I'm playing Ben Jordan. I was going to play 5 Days a Stranger, but I just didn't want to read all the dialogue and stuff like that. And 5 Days a Stranger does have a lot of dialogue. I will get to it. Maybe if I beat this game, I'll jump on that. But 5 Days a Stranger is created by a guy named Ben Yahtzee Croshaw, who also does zero punctuation on YouTube. If you guys think that he's a little bit opinionated in his views on like certain games that come out, well, there's a reason for that. It's because he actually is a legitimate, like really, he knows how to make a game. And he did that with 5 Days a Stranger, which is sort of a crudely made adventure game that uses the AGS adventure engine. But it worked, and it actually sucks you in. It's a great story. It's like The Shining. Right now, I'm going to play Francisco Gonzalez's Ben Jordan, Paranormal Investigator. And if you want to know about him, he made a game called The Golden Wake, which was, I believe, released by Watch It Eye, and that is a very incredible adventure game that doesn't have anything to do with saving the world or whatever. It's a period piece. You kind of have to play it. It's like The Great Gatsby in many ways. But let's get into Ben Jordan here, and to start out, I'm going to play the intro, and you're going to learn a lot about the character of Ben Jordan. I'm just going to adjust my volume here so that you can hear some of this great monotonous music. Okay, here we go. Let's watch the intro.
So you'd like to hear about how I got into this mess? How a regular guy ended up half a world away, unconscious in the backseat of a car belonging to a guy he thought he could trust but turned out to be his worst enemy? But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I should start from the very beginning. It's the best place, after all. My name is Ben Jordan. I was just your average college graduate, 22 years old, with no direction in life and a degree that got me nowhere except a sales job with a local bullseye. As a kid, I was in love with monster movies and anything to do with the paranormal. My family thought it was just a waste of time, except for my grandfather. Grandpa Arthur used to tell me ghost stories and legends he had heard while traveling through Europe in the 1920s. This really fueled my interest in the paranormal. By the time I finished high school, I was obsessed. I wanted to travel and see if the legends were true, but I had to put my dreams aside and go to college to appease my parents. I ended up studying international relations, which bored me to tears. So I passed the time by reading my books on the paranormal, listening to Pink Floyd, and dreaming of my ideal career. One day I was browsing the web and found a book called The Paranormal Investigator's Handbook by Professor Quincy Sanborn. I ordered it immediately and read it cover to cover the day it arrived. It was then that I decided I was going to become a paranormal investigator. So after graduating, I asked my parents to loan me some money, advertised my services on the internet, and sat back waiting for the cases to come rolling in. Of course, at the time, I had no way of knowing that the path I'd chosen was going to change my life, in more ways than one. My first case started off with me receiving a phone call, but not one I was very happy about. No, Mom, I told you. I've decided to become a freelance paranormal investigator. I know you think it sounds crazy, but just trust me on this one. I think I've seen enough episodes of The X-Files to know that there's something out there. Look, I have to go. I'll call you back in a few days. I don't understand. It's been 3 weeks since I posted about my services on those forums. You'd think someone would have called by now. Hello? Yes, this is Ben Jordan. Sir, please calm down. I can't understand what you're saying. A skunk ape murdering people in the Florida Everglades? Okay, I'll go there as soon as I can. What did you say your name was? Ranger Morales. Okay, I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Well, that sure was weird. But I've got a case. Time to buy a ticket to Florida. Hello, I'm Ben Jordan. Are you Ranger Morales?
I'm afraid not, young man. I'm glad you've arrived, though.
What's the matter? Did something happen to him?
Come with me, and I'll show you. Well, here he is. We found him here about an hour ago.
My God, what did this to him?
It seems that this was the work of a creature that up until now was just a legend. A monster known as the Skunk Ape.
I guess I'd better start my investigation then.
Okay, guys, I'm going to start playing here. As you can see, it's almost got a very Sierra-style look. Just going to do a quick save. Begin. Like I said, if you have any questions or whatever, just let me know in the chat. You can certainly just type in anything in there. So yeah, the layout of this adventure game is very traditional. Let me add that this game is actually available. This is free. You can go look up. You can Google Ben Jordan. You can go to the website. I think Grunsalive Games or whatever, and download each of these episodes. There's about, I believe, 6 or 7 episodes. Let me actually make sure how many episodes there are here. There's 8 episodes actually. 8 episodes of Ben Jordan. Not all of them actually have voiceover work. As you can also hear that like the voiceover work is a little crude because in the beginning when they started making these games, I mean, I don't think that he had a lot of resources. Which actually these games are pretty fun, and Ben Jordan's actually kind of a cool character. He's very, I guess you could say, Hardy Boy-esque kind of character, although he doesn't have a brother. But yeah, it's just the typical AGS engine kind of stuff that you can do in most of any game made with the AGS toolkit. Let's go ahead and look at this dead
The
ranger.
mutilated body of the ranger is stretched out on the dirt.
Yeah, and there's a narrator. So let's talk to the old ranger real quick.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Just a little jumpy is all.
Okay, let's ask some, I guess, questions.
Excuse me.
Yes?
So in this game, you basically, it's you're going through conversation loops, although it's not as advanced. I would like Downfall, where you actually create, it kind of creates or guides you to outcomes and can actually affect your ending. This is more you're just gathering information and stuff like that, so that you can find other stuff to click on, like very typical adventure game stuff. Very basic, but in a way it works.
What can you tell me about the murders?
Oh my, they're horrible. Ranger Morales is the 5th person we've found in the past 2 weeks. Before that, we lost another ranger, a young woman named Rita Myers. There was also a vacationing couple who were camping out in the woods, and the first person we found was a teenage boy who had gone out hiking. All the bodies have had one thing in common. They're all missing their livers.
Missing the livers?
Yes, our best guess is that the skunk ape eats the livers.
Yikes.
When the whole problem started, we found a few deer here and there with their livers torn out, but then we started finding people, and the MO just carried over.
Let's go ahead and ask him about himself. I always like adventure games when you just say, "Hey, tell me about yourself."
Tell me about yourself.
Me? My name is Ernie. I've been a ranger here at Everglades National Park for over 30 years. I love nature. I guess it runs in my family since my brother moved out west to become a medicine man. Aside from that, I really don't know what else to tell you.
Alright, sorry guys, I'm seeing that there's an issue with the stream. Oh, here we go, it's back to health. Hopefully that didn't, oh, there it goes again. So it's actually letting me know something here. Please use keyframe frequency 4 seconds or less. Turn not set often enough. The current key. I need to see what this message says, sorry. 4 seconds or less. I have no idea what it's referring to. Okay, so maybe... Not video settings. If anyone's watching right now, is the video coming out funky, or it's saying my stream health isn't good? Let's go to properties here. No, looks like no one's watching, so I guess it's pretty bad. I don't see what... Please use keyframe frequency of 4 seconds. I don't know what that means. Oh wait, stream options, here we go. Sorry guys, trying to make this work better. I apologize for the technical stuff. This is all pretty new to me, so just bear with me a second. I'm not sure what it's asking me to do. It's like I'm playing an adventure game with an adventure game and trying to make the adventure game to work. I don't know what any of this means. Oh, here we go. Keyframe interval. So let me put this. Current keyframe interval. Like 18 seconds, maybe. Use a keyframe frequency 4 seconds or less. Oh, there we go. So let's do that. Alright, I'm seeing if that works. I'm hoping that works. I'm just going to check it out on my phone real quick just to make sure it's doing what I want it to do. Excuse me for a second, I'll be right back.
Tell me about Ranger Morales.
I didn't know him very well, but he seemed like a nice guy.
Do you know of any reason why he might have been attacked?
Not really, no. So far the murders have all seemed to be random. However, he's the first body that's been found so close to the main tourist area. The others have been further out in the woods. If this keeps up, we may have to close the park until something can be done.
No, for whatever reason, I don't think it's coming up the audio. What is going on? But it's eating right now. Let's see, let me just this. Okay, guys, I'm hoping that you can actually hear all this. Current keyframe frequency is at 7.8. Apparently I'm experiencing a lot of buffering, which I do apologize for.
What do you know about the Skunk Ape?
I don't know any specific facts. The Skunk Ape was always more of an urban legend. But I have heard a few things. What exactly would you like to know?
What is a Skunk Ape exactly?
It's similar to a Yeti or a Sasquatch, but We call it a skunk ape because its trademark is a horrible smell. Some have described it as being a mix of rotten eggs, moldy cheese, and dung.
That sounds unpleasant.
It is, but the good thing is that characteristic will make it somewhat easier to track down.
I guess.
Okay, I guess that roar means that I'm doing something right. Vic. Hey, how's it going, man? Vic asks, have you ever heard of, or have you ever seen The Legend of Boggy Creek? I have seen The Legend of Boggy Creek. I'm sorry, I've seen the second Legend of Boggy Creek, like, numerous times. I remember seeing the first one because I was, like, trying to find it everywhere, but I've seen the second one a lot because it was on MST3K, and yeah, like, Yeti movies are awesome. They're not very good, but they're awesome to watch. So I don't know what's going on, but like it's saying my stream health has bad video settings, and I just checked it out on my phone. It seems okay. Yeah, Vic says the second Boggy Creek movie is a classic, and it is indeed a classic. So let's just.
Has anyone actually seen the Skunk Ape?
The only ones who have are dead.
So there aren't any survivors or anything I could talk to?
I'm afraid not.
So if you haven't seen it, do you know what it looks like?
Not for certain, but the rumors of its appearance are all the same. It's supposed to be 7 feet tall, weigh about 300 pounds, and have a nasty temper.
Glad I asked.
Alright, let's talk about animals.
Are there any other animals in the park that might be capable of attacking people like this?
Not really. The Florida panther might be capable of it, but there are so few of them left it seems unlikely that they would be to blame. Besides, they usually keep to themselves.
Have you found any evidence as to what might be responsible?
The only thing we've found so far is a large footprint near one of the murder scenes.
I see. That's all for now.
Okay.
Okay, so let's ask.
This is a nice park you've got here.
Thanks. We rangers pride ourselves on keeping this state preserve as pristine and beautiful as we can. It's really a shame that our nation's wetlands are constantly disappearing.
Yes, I agree. Can you tell me how to get around the area?
Of course. This area isn't really that big. Over there you can see the roof of the visitors center. Near that is a ranger station, and of course there's the forest too. Here, take this brochure. It's got a map so you can find your way.
Thanks.
Okay, it's giving. I guess I got a map now. Oh. I'm confused with where my window is and where my. Maybe I'll just refresh this window and let's see what happens. Okay.
So, now that I know more or less what I'm dealing with, what do you suggest I do?
Well, that's a good question. Obviously, we need to find out why the skunk ape has decided to start killing people, and stop it from doing so again. As a park ranger, I'm morally opposed to killing it, but as it has already taken more than one human life, that may unfortunately be the only solution. I think your best bet is to go out into the forest and see if you can find out if the skunk ape has a lair or someplace it stays regularly. Of course, you shouldn't go alone, but most of the other rangers have been too scared to go out into the woods since the killing started. I'd go with you myself, but I don't think I'm up for much excitement anymore.
You said most of the rangers were too scared to go into the woods. Are there any who aren't?
Well, there is one guy, Ranger Rick. But I don't know if he'll want to go.
Is it me or does this guy sound like What's his name? Christopher Walken.
Tell me about Ranger Rick.
He hasn't been working here very long, but he's one of our best rangers. The thing about him is he's extremely superstitious when it comes to nature. He might go into the woods with you, but he might have some weird reason for not wanting to.
Well, right now he's my best option. Do you know where I can find him?
He should be at the ranger station.
Thanks for all your help.
No problem. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask.
He should be at the ranger station. Skittles, bite-sized candies.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Thanks for all your help.
No problem. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask.
I don't like the fact that my
The water flows past ever so slowly. Feeling slightly nauseated, you examine the body more closely.
Uh-oh.
The ranger's face is twisted into an expression of sheer horror. Either his attacker caught him by surprise, or he's just shocked at the fact that his innards are currently on display to the rest of the world. There seems to be a tuft of hair clutched in the ranger's hand. Maybe he pulled it off the skunk ape as he was being attacked. The ranger's midsection has been torn open by whatever attacked him. Several of his internal organs are visible. However, you notice that his liver seems to be missing. The ranger is wearing a pair of standard olive green pants. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Did I say purse? I meant pocket. You search through the ranger's pockets, but find nothing of interest. Keep your fingers out of the ranger's face. Just because he's dead, that's no excuse for you to be rude to him.
I like doing the hand touch thing.
You'd really rather not handle another man's organs.
Oh, come on. Okay, what's my inventory? I have a rifle, a notepad.
The two items. That doesn't seem. That.
Okay, so I can't do anything with a notepad right now. There's a map. Okay,
Your notepad and pen, saviors of your bad short-term memory. You pick this rifle up on your way to Florida. You hope you make some good money off this case because buying it created a large void in your bank account. You were given this brochure of the Florida Everglades, which conveniently includes a map of the area. It's a tuft of Sasquatch hair and mange. The ranger's face is twisted into an expression of sheer horror. Either his attacker caught him by surprise, or he's just shocked at the fact that his innards are currently on display to the rest of the world.
I already did that one, okay, so don't think there's anything else I can need to do here, so
That doesn't... You don't want to give that away.
alright, maybe if I can try that.
Take a look at this. I found it in the dead ranger's hand.
Interesting. That hair doesn't look like it belongs to any animal I've seen in the park.
Well, that was a whole lot of useless. Oh, I think I'm supposed to...
You open up the brochure and look at the map.
Okay, so I guess this is how I get around. I guess I don't have to physically walk. Like I said, it's been a while since I played this game, so So let's go to the ranger station.
The door leads into the ranger station.
I think I could have figured that one out. Jeez, that is loud.
Only you can prevent forest fires. A young ranger is sitting on the couch reading a book. This must be Ranger Rick.
Alright, let's talk to Ranger Rick.
Nice weather we're having.
Is it? Haven't been outside much today, I'm afraid.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
Sure, what's up?
The book says the murder is on the net. Yep. Got to inform the tourists that where your other tourists or where other rangers were murdered. Let's talk about
You're
Ranger
Ranger
Rick.
Rick, aren't you?
Yes, I am. What can I do for you?
My name's Ben Jordan. I was called out here by Ranger Morales.
Oh, you're the Paranormal Investigator guy, aren't you?
That's me. Ernie told me I should talk to you.
Okay, so talk to me.
Ranger Rick, I read that in Boy Scouts. I actually never joined Boy Scouts. I couldn't get past the uniforms. Well, let's talk about the Skunk
What
Ape.
can you tell me about the Skunk Ape?
It's terrorizing the woods, that's what.
Anything else?
Not really. I don't think I could tell you more than Ernie probably already has.
Ernie suggested I should find someone to go into the woods with and try to track down the Skunk Ape. He said you were the guy I should go to.
Well, Ben, I'd love to go with you, really I would. But with the sudden appearance of the Skunk Ape, things in the woods haven't exactly been in balance lately. I wouldn't feel right going out there without some protection.
I've got a rifle.
No, I didn't mean that kind of protection.
Well, I guess we could look for a pharmacy or something. But I should tell you, that's not my thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with...
Ben, I'm talking about a nature amulet.
Oh, a nature amulet, of course.
Well, let's ask about nature amulets.
What's a nature amulet?
It's an amulet that wards off evil spirits and attracts good-natured spirits.
So if I can get you one, will you come with me?
Sure,
Okay, so how do I do it?
it's complicated. Nature amulets just don't grow on trees, you know. The base is made from an ancient earth object, like a bone or a rock. You'll need some animal hair to make a string so the amulet can be worn. And the amulet needs to be blessed by a shaman. Got it?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Is there anything you can tell me about the recent murders?
Terrible, aren't they? It's bad enough to lose your co-workers, but when the public are victims too, it becomes a whole different story. Hopefully something can be done before anybody else dies so horribly. But then that's what you're here for, isn't it?
What's that you're reading?
It's part of a series about this kid who wants to be a professional fish tank cleaner.
That sounds fascinating.
This one I'm reading is part 5, where he goes to Bangladesh.
Is it any good?
Not really. It's surprising, since the author took so long to write it.
Well, I hear that tends to happen a lot. That's some nice music you're listening to.
It's the only radio station we get out here. But even this music is better than no music, in my opinion.
So what's it like to be a ranger?
I like it. It's a fun job. The pay could be a little better, but then the government doesn't send much money our way.
Okay, I'm going now.
Take it easy.
So in many ways, this game's... who wrote this weird dialogue? Francisco Gonzalez, I believe, is the author of this game. This is, I mean, it is a very sort of like amateur, AGS game, but the fact that he put dialogue in it and all this detail, it's kind of impressive. Let's check the drawers.
You search through the drawers and find a box of diuretic water pills.
I'm assuming that means I picked them up. There they are.
There's nothing else of interest in the drawers.
Let's look at this map.
It's a map of the Everglades. An old radio is blaring out some horrible blue. You haven't got time to sit down right now.
So yeah, this game is made on the cheap, but the fact is that this game's actually free. And as the other episodes of Ben Jordan cases came out, there's 8 of them. They got better and better. I believe Francisco Gonzalez actually ended up working on what's it called? Shoot, now I'm blanking. Some games that were released by Watch It Eye. Golden Wake was one of them. I'm not sure if he worked on Primordial or Primordia. Oh, that's right. Like, it's like a force of habit for me trying to walk toward the end of the scene to get to another place when I'm actually supposed to look at this map. This reminds me of LucasArts film. Yeah, it's got that feeling.
You open up the brochure and look at the map.
Yeah, let's go to the visitor center, I guess.
You were taught that if you couldn't say anything nice, you shouldn't say anything at all. And now is one of those times.
I'm a judgmental person.
The sign has the words, "Save the Wetlands" written on it in a dark red substance.
What else is there? You can go in that door. So this is very old style adventure gamey. I have to like scan with my little mouse.
A large and old-looking tree stands majestically beside the visitor center.
Let's talk to the stranger.
That's a nice sign you got there.
Thanks. I painted it myself using my own blood.
I see.
So Vic Real says he's been to the Everglades Visitor Center. Is this an accurate portrayal of how it is, of how it's, the appearance of it about all? Is this game accurate?
Hello.
Hey there, young man.
Well, let's talk about himself.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Lloyd Daniels. I've been living in Florida for the past 20 years. I'm an active member in the community and a staunch environmentalist. Among the things I do are set up fundraisers, beach cleanups, and protests.
Vic Real says this is close. This guy with the beard is awesome. Let's ask about protests.
What exactly do you protest?
Any possible threat to the environment. You have no idea how angry it makes me to see environmental injustices committed. If I see someone so much as look at a tree the wrong way, I'll go off like a rocket.
You seem very dedicated to your cause.
And how?
Talk about the park.
Nice park, huh?
Nice? Nice? I don't see what's so nice about a bunch of rangers sitting around at their station eating sandwiches all day. While out here the wetlands continue to disappear by the minute.
I don't know, it seems like the Rangers are doing a decent job.
Ah, shows what you know.
Have you ever heard of the Skunk Ape?
Oh, you mean that fabricated story to keep us out of the woods so the developers can bulldoze their way in here and build condos behind our backs?
So you don't believe it exists?
Of course not. Even if there was such a creature, it wouldn't be in the wild for long. Poachers would probably hunt it down for its fur, jewelry would be made from its teeth, purses from its hide.
I think I get your point. Did you know that the Skunk Ape has been murdering people lately?
Well, it's about time.
Excuse me?
Man has been murdering nature for centuries. It's not surprising that nature has decided to fight back.
Are you saying it's justifiable homicide?
Now don't go putting words in my mouth, boy. All I'm saying is, maybe this is the wake-up call people need, regardless of whether or not some made-up creature is doing it.
See you around.
Hug a tree for me.
Oh, dear. Um, this is, yeah, the dialogue's very weird and strange and weirdly delivered, but yeah, keep in mind that this guy was making with no money. Uh, I believe he also worked on the Blackwell games by Wadjet Eye. That was the game I couldn't remember, um, which is a really great story about a woman who can see this ghost, and they like solve these murders, like these supernatural kind of murders and crimes. Um, I highly recommend any of the Wadjet Eye games. They're incredible. But like the people who made this game, or person who made this game, Francisco Gonzalez, got a lot better at making these. But you can kind of see the genesis of like all the tropes that he would later use in the Blackwell games and a Golden Wake. I'm not sure if he had any input with Resonance. That's personally my favorite Wadjet Eye game. I love the music.
Interesting setup you've gotten here.
Yeah, the tourists seem to like it.
On the counter is a white mug. Written on it are the words, "My other cup is blue." It's the door to the men's room. It's a drinking fountain. The display case contains several fossils as well as some teeth.
It's an odd thing to have.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, and welcome to the Everglades National Park Visitor Center. How can I help you?
Do you know anything about the skunk ape?
Can't say I do. I've never even heard of a skunk ape before.
Oh, well, never mind then. Have you heard about the recent murders?
I think I overheard one of the rangers talking about it. But nobody around here tells me anything, since I'm just a receptionist. I'm pretty clueless when it comes to park gossip.
That seems a little unfair.
Maybe. But if people are getting murdered, I'd rather not know about it.
What can you tell me about the visitor center?
Well, everything in here is pretty self-explanatory. I guess I can tell you more about that display case over there, and the animatronic Mikasuki in the next room.
Now let's ask for the display
What's in the display case?
If you read the plaque, you can see that it contains fossils found near this area. Mainly it's just some alligator and shark teeth, and a couple of imprinted rocks.
Can I take a closer look?
I'm afraid not. We've had problems with tourists stealing the relics. That glass case is there for a reason, you know?
Tell me something about yourself.
What for?
I don't know, I was just being friendly.
If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not talk about myself.
Okay, fair enough.
That seems like a more realistic response when someone says, "Tell me about yourself," when you just kind of met him.
What can you tell me about the animatronic Mikasuki?
It's a robot of an Indian. It's tacky, politically incorrect, and it gives you a blessing if you put in a coin.
I see. Anything else?
It's broken. Which is probably for the best if you ask me.
That's all the information I needed.
Enjoy your visit!
Vic has a comment, "If my coworkers are getting murdered, I'd want to know." That's true. I mean, why would you want to have any details on that? Let's go use the bathroom.
There's no need to use the hand dryer, as your hands are not wet. You flush the toilet and get a strange satisfaction from doing so.
Guess we can take some toilet paper.
In a fit of kleptomania, you decide to take the whole roll of toilet paper. You never know when it might come in handy after all.
Vic says, "Is he a literal red herring?" That's a good one.
You don't need to wash your hands at the moment. You don't have... A large mirror hangs on the wall above the sink.
Okay, well, it looks like I don't keep anything else in here, so let's just go ahead
The display.
Hey, please don't touch the display case.
Oh, sorry.
Ah, a shaman.
It's a startlingly lifelike animatronic robot depicting a Mikasuki shaman. It's a coin slot, presumably for putting in coins. There seems to be something stuck in it. You can't reach into the coin slot with your fingers.
Well, let's see. Do I have anything in my inventory that can help me? Probably not. Ah, okay, I just realized something. I take all the okay, cool. Okay, that's what I meant. Okay. So, I just noticed that I have a diuretic in my possession.
The receptionist probably wouldn't appreciate you messing around with his mug.
Alright, so I wonder if I can do this. Sorry, where's the... No. There we
You
go.
take the opportunity to slip a water pill into the receptionist's drink when he isn't looking. It quickly dissolves. The receptionist.
Oh man, that water went right through me. Excuse me a second, will ya?
Now I can mess with the display and take stuff.
You begin to lift up the glass, but just as you're about to take something from inside,
Oh, okay.
Hey, please don't touch the display case.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, so I need to do something a little bit more sneakier than that.
darn, there. The poster features a rather boring illustration of the water cycle and its importance to the park's ecosystem. The window offers a fantastic view of an adjacent lake.
I guess I can't really do anything there. Let's check the coin return.
There's nothing.
Can I lock the bathroom door? Let's go check out if I can do that. Guess I would need some kind of item to do that. Let's see if I tap something. Here, the map, the notepad, the toilet paper, the diuretic, and the rifle. So yeah, you're right. I do need to. Maybe if I click on the. Let's try this again. God damn it! Like, there we go.
You take the opportunity.
Drink, drink, drink.
The receptionist takes a big gulp from his mug. For a while, nothing much happens, but then.
Oh man, that water went right through me. Excuse me a second, will ya?
The bathroom is currently occupied.
Maybe you need to X-lax, then he can't leave it without toilet paper. I do have the toilet paper though. Let's just shoot him.
Shooting that with the rifle wouldn't be very productive.
Okay.
The receptionist probably wouldn't approve. You aren't feeling
Yeah, when I go to the display case, let's go read the plaque.
The plaque reads, "The following items have been found in or around this area of the park." You begin to lift up the glass, but just as you're about to take something from inside,
Hey, please don't touch the display case.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so there's some trick here.
darn, there has to be some way to get him out of the room for longer.
Just need to figure that out. I look the map from here so I don't have to.
You open up the brochure and look at the map.
Forest. You clog the toilet. Actually, you know what? That is a pretty good idea. Let's try that.
With childish delight, you toss the entire roll of toilet paper into the toilet bowl. You flush the toilet. Oh dear.
Okay, that may have done it. So let's go to diuretic.
You take the opportunity to slip a water pill into the receptionist's drink when he isn't looking.
This can't be
It quickly
healthy for the guy.
dissolves. The receptionist takes a big gulp from his mug. For a while, nothing much happens, but then...
Oh man, that water went right through me. Excuse me a second, will ya? Oh, I don't believe this. The toilet is broken. I have to find some place to pee. Thank goodness for that tree over there.
Uh-oh, not in front of the guy. He's gonna
What
get pissed.
Hey! Just what in the name of Gaia do you think you're doing?
Ah, well, the bathroom isn't working, so I thought I'd just...
Drown this poor tree in your vile waste product? How would you like it if someone decided to relieve themselves on you?
I guess I wouldn't.
Of course you wouldn't. I suppose you think it's okay just because it's a tree.
Well, I mean, it's not like he can feel it.
Oh, is that what you think? I've got some information for you, sonny boy.
The man proceeds to yell at the poor receptionist, who looks as though he fears for his life. This could go on for quite some time.
Let's go get some bones.
Since the receptionist is currently occupied, you swipe a shark tooth from the display case.
Alright, Vic, I actually owe you for that one. Thanks for figuring that out for me. Let's see. Use the shark tooth on the coin thingy.
The shark tooth might work, but you don't want to risk damage.
Alright. I just had a realization there's a pen here. That looks skinny enough.
You stick the pen into the slot, and whatever was blocking it falls through the machine and into the coin return below. It seems your tampering with the coin slot has activated the robot.
Hello, welcome to Everglades National Park. I am Sharpen Sawgrass, the shaman. For your generous donation, I will now give you good fortune by performing the blessing dance.
The robot begins some horrible gyration. This really is the most insulting thing you've seen in a long time.
Well, at least it's self-aware. I guess can we use this as the...
You don't want to give that away. You reach into the coin slot and find a quarter and an odd little piece of carved rock.
Vic just said this does have entertaining puzzles. It actually does. I'm digging it. I forgot how much fun I had with this game.
It's an arrowhead, carved from what appears to be flint. You don't... The two items don't go together.
Okay.
The two...
I need to make some sort of talisman, or... Alright, so I guess... entertaining music here. What if I can take this?
You quickly take the sign into your possession.
Alright, I think I kind of remember some stuff. Now, it's been a long time since I played this game, but let's go ahead and just look at the map and go to the forest.
You open up the brochure and look at the map. An enormous tree has been uprooted and overturned. You wonder if this was caused naturally, or if it was the skunk ape's doing. A large tree stands here, casting a shadow over the rest of the area. You notice a few holes in the tree's bark where there's some dried sap.
Okay.
Feeling no remorse, you viciously stab the tree with the pointed end of the picket sign. If the environmentalist saw what you were using his sign for, he'd kill you.
What did I just do?
The sign reads, "Save the wetlands."
Oh, okay, so... sap.
A steady flow of sap is oozing out of the hole you made in the tree. Being careful not to get any on your hands, you soak the hair in the sap. You manage to weave the sticky hair into a necklace and attach it to the shark tooth.
Okay, so now I have my talisman. So I need to get it blessed. Okay, here, see, I keep on doing the same thing. I keep on doing that stupid,
You open up the brochure and look at the map.
convoluted way of creating the talisman, but I couldn't remember throwing toilet into a toilet bowl. Just go to the
You place the amulet in the robot's hand.
Alright, now do this racially insensitive.
With the amulet on the robot, you insert the quarter and hope this does the trick.
Hello, welcome to Everglades National Park. I am Sharpen Sawgrass, the shaman. For your generous donation, I will now give you good fortune by performing the blessing dance.
After the robot concludes its little jig, you remove the amulet from its hand. It hasn't exactly been blessed by an authentic shaman, but you hope Rick won't notice.
Alright, so I guess we can just go back to Rick. I'm looking at the score right now, and I called this like part 1 of Ben Jordan, but seeing that the score max is 68, I'm pretty much almost done with this game. Let's just look at
The
this.
environmentalist is currently yelling at the receptionist.
Okay, also I didn't actually have to go out here, I could have just used the map.
You open up the brochure and look at the map.
Okay. I do recall that you do have the ability to die in this game sometime later, so I'm just going to go ahead and say Rick, amulet, woo! My ode to Ric Flair. All night long, baby!
Here, I got you your amulet.
Hey, great. Okay, we'll be ready to go as soon as I get a few supplies together.
I'll meet you outside the station in a few minutes then.
Later that afternoon.
Here we are. This area is where we found all the other victims of the skunk ape.
And we're going to camp here?
Yeah, the skunk ape is probably nearby. I think this will be a good place to start tracking him from.
How exactly are we going to find him?
We'll go out looking for him later. In the meantime, I'm gonna start setting up the tent. You can look around if you want, but be careful you don't get lost. It may not seem like it, but it's really easy to lose your way out there. In fact, here, take my compass. It should come in handy.
Thanks, I guess.
Vic asks, is each game based on a different type of supernatural creature? Not so much creature, but to a certain extent, yes. It's more of supernatural. Like, this is about, like, say, Bigfoot. There's one of them that has to do with this house. So it's just a haunted house. And I believe one of them actually had Lost City of Atlantis. Yeah, it's got a very X-Files feel.
It feels like wood. The log can't be moved. Rick is busy with the tent.
I don't bother him.
He's busy setting up camp.
Okay, so... Oh, there's a backpack.
Rick brought along his backpack, presumably where he's keeping the supplies. Now is not...
Oh.
You look through Rick's backpack and find a small bottle of nasal decongestant.
Hey, Rick, mind if I borrow this for a little while?
Not a problem. Be my guest.
Okay, so... nasal decongestant. The skunk ape, I guess, smells bad.
A small pile of rocks litter the ground. You don't want to weigh yourself down by carrying a bunch of rocks. You spray the nasal decongestant in your nose and take a deep breath. That sure cleared out your sinuses.
Oh wait, I have
Take-
no.
Taking a deep breath, you notice a strange odor which seems to be coming from the west.
The nose knows.
You take a deep breath. You think you smell something to the north.
Do I need to keep on using this thing? 'Cause you said to-
You've already used the nasal deconject.
Okay, so thinks he hears from the north.
You inhale deeply. There's definitely something smelly to the east.
Alright, let's go east.
You take a deep breath. You think you smell something to the north. Taking a deep breath, you notice a strange odor which seems to be coming from the west.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Getting a lung full of air, you determine that there's an odor coming from the south.
Feels like I just walked into a circle.
Taking a deep breath, you notice a strange odor which seems to be coming from the west. You take a deep breath. You think you smell something to the north. You take a deep breath. You think you smell something to the north.
Go north.
Taking a deep breath, you notice a strange odor which seems to be coming from the west.
That took way too long.
A dark entrance leads further into the mound. You can smell a faint but foul odor coming from within.
Alright, so this is the thing about this, the older games of yore and games that are made in a similar sense, is that you do kind of have to like actively save yourself. There's no checkpoints. If I get killed here,
This mound gives you the creeps. You'd rather avoid touching it unless absolutely necessary.
if I get killed here, I'm pretty much dead, and the only thing I can do is restore my last save point. So it's really just up to you where you sense danger. Now let me go into the darkness.
Upon entering the mound, you're struck with a distinct odor of rotten eggs, moldy cheese, and dung.
Man, it stinks in here. I guess I found the Skunk Ape's lair.
There's a small pile of bones on the ground. They look distinctly human. On the wall are some dark red stains. You suddenly get a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach. In the center of the lair is a large hole. Unfortunately, it's too dark to see how deep it is or if there's anything in it. A large pile of dried grass and leaves is assembled in the corner. This must be where the skunk ape sleeps, especially if the smell is any indication. You don't want anything to do with the bones. Searching the nest, you find a large stick. It's not a very good idea to stick your hand into dark and potentially dangerous places, so you don't. That doesn't seem to work.
Oh.
Striking the steel compass and flint arrowhead together creates a spark. You strike the compass and arrowhead and light the stick with the resulting spark. Your heart beating quickly, you toss the lit stick into the pit.
Cutscene.
Rick,
What's the matter, Ben? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I found the skunk ape's lair.
Was it inside?
Luckily, no, but I looked around and found a big hole in the ground. Inside the hole, I found a whole bunch of packets of cocaine.
Cocaine? Are you sure?
Well, I doubt the skunk ape is collecting sugar.
Why would there be a stash of drugs in the skunk ape's lair?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, good job on your discovery, Ben. I'm sure we'll figure out the deal with the drugs.
So what do we do now?
We should check out the lair together, but I think we should wait until dark, just in case the skunk ape is around. We have a better chance of not being detected under the cover of darkness.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I've just finished setting up camp. Why don't you get a fire started and we'll cook some dinner?
Alright, I'm on it.
Not to worry, because I have a compass and an arrowhead to start a fire.
And I realized that a career in international relations wasn't what I wanted, so I decided to become a freelance paranormal investigator.
That's an interesting career option. I don't think there'd be much call for that sort of thing nowadays. But then here you are, so I guess you made the right choice.
I've been wondering about something. Has the skunk ape ever been active before this set of attacks?
Not that I can remember. I mean, there were stories about it, but never any actual evidence of its existence.
It's weird that it would just start attacking people for no reason. Well, maybe not no reason. There has to be some explanation for the drugs in the cave.
Speaking of which, I think it's about time we headed over there and checked it out. Have you got your rifle handy?
Yeah, I've got it right here.
You know how to use it, right?
Well, no, actually. I've never really fired a gun before.
You better let me carry it then, just in case we get into trouble.
Okay, here you go.
Alright, let's get going. So this is it, huh?
This is it.
Are you sure it's a good idea to be going in alone?
If the skunk ape is in there, I'll just come back out.
Okay, I've got you covered.
The skunk ape is really Pablo Escobar. I was gonna say that the skunk ape is like the Tony Montoya. Let's park as one big turkey ready to be plucked. Let me see. Let me just make sure. Like a before cave night, I guess. Vic is saying that he actually found the ending. Found out what the ending is going to be. Just go in there and I just get killed by the skunk ape.
Much to your relief, you see that the skunk ape has not returned to its lair yet. Suddenly, you hear some commotion outside.
Rick!
Be careful, Ben. This thing means business. Alright, you stinking ape. Get ready to meet whatever crazy entity made you.
What? You're going to shoot it?
Do you know how much the Smithsonian would pay to have one of these things on display? I can make enough money to get out of this swamp and start a real life.
But I thought you said you liked being a park ranger.
You try spending your days being bitten by mosquitoes and lectured by smelly old hippies and tell me how you'd like it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to shoot this animal.
Rick, look out!
What the?
After running for what feels like hours, you finally seem to have lost the skunk ape. Now it's just a question of finding your way out of this forest.
Okay, so I guess head to the smoke. Oh, I wonder what's cabin.
The welcoming light through the window suggests that someone is home. You decide to see if anyone is home.
Just a minute. Now, who could that be at this time of night?
What a rugged-looking
Who is it?
individual.
My name's Ben Jordan. I'm being chased by a giant monster.
Oh yeah, that sounded perfectly reasonable.
Crazy kid. Alright, hold on a sec. Come on in.
Thanks, sir. I really appreciate you letting me in.
Call me Jed. You ain't from around these parts, are you?
No, actually, I'm not.
So what are you doing out in the woods this late at night?
Have you ever heard of the Skunk Ape?
Did you say the skunk ape was chasing you?
Yeah, you know about it?
Boy, you've been living in the woods as long as I have. You've seen everything. How'd the skunk ape find you anyway?
Well, I found him, actually. I was looking for his lair with a ranger from the park.
I see. And did you find it?
Yeah, we were looking into that when the Skunk Ape showed up and killed the ranger.
You don't say. Well, Ben, I'm gonna go call a friend of mine. He'll be able to help you get out of here and back to safety. Make yourself at home in the meantime. I'll be right back.
Okay, looks like
Jed disappears into the next room. You're left with a somewhat uneasy feeling, particularly because you thought you noticed his attitude change a bit when you mentioned the skunk ape's lair.
Alright, so I am going to save. Let's see, Vic says, I thought Rick was going to turn out to be a drug lord and there was no skunk ape. Kind of like a Scooby-Doo kind of thing. Maybe he had a skunk ape suit on or something. I guess inside cabin.
There's a medium-sized wooden chair on a rug in front of the fireplace. You haven't got time to sit down in front. A large fire is crackling in the fireplace.
I've used all of these things, right? Yeah. Let's go this way.
Well, I guess I should have told you not to come in here when I said make yourself at home.
Wait a minute, those were your drugs in the Skunk Ape's lair?
That's right. I was wondering how you'd managed to get away. Usually the skunk ape manages to protect my stash from anyone who gets too close.
So you've been using the Skunk Ape to guard your drugs? How?
It's pretty simple, really. I go into the city and steal the drugs for myself off the ships in the port. Then I hide them out here in the middle of the woods where the police wouldn't think to come look. One day I happened to find the skunk ape's lair. It was gonna do me in until I remembered I had some cocaine in my pocket.
Don't tell me you...
Yep, I gave the skunk ape a little taste and he loved it. From that day forward, he was like a big stinky pet.
I forgot about that.
That's so cruel.
So I took advantage and started using his cave. I even managed to get an electronic collar on him so I could give him a little shock if he gets out of control. Or if I need to give him a call, like right now.
You're a sick bastard, you know that?
I've been called worse. Now say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend.
You have no interest in.
I forgot how to do this.
Thinking quickly,
There we
you
go.
lunge towards the table. Ben, You're back already? What happened?
It's a long story, but the skunk ape won't be a problem anymore.
What about Rick?
He didn't make it.
What a shame. Well, I guess you've done your job, so I'll write you a check for your services.
Thanks, Ernie. I'd stick around, but I'm in a desperate need of a shower.
Alright, Ben. Take care of yourself.
So that's how I broke into the whole paranormal investigating thing, and managed to survive it. Needless to say, the next few months would be filled with more mysteries and danger than I ever thought possible. But those are stories for another time.
Alright guys, that actually is the end of Ben Jordan Case 1. Like I said, there are 8 of these cases. The other games are a tad longer, and some of them actually don't have voiceover work. The first 2 were remade with that voiceover work. So I'm going to turn on the volume of the game real quick here, so that maybe you can hear me a little better. Yeah, it's an interesting ending. I do actually dig the fact that this Jed guy was controlling the Skunk Ape with the promise of cocaine. It's like almost having like a pimp, like having, you know, hookers addicted to smack, and so that like they can do the, you know, his bidding or whatever. And in this case, it's like it's a Skunk Ape that will kill people and protect his stash. I do remember that I had to do something to knock over the table to make all the cocaine fall on the person. So my thoughts on this game is, the reason why I like it, I guess, is because I'm a huge fan of Kolchak the Night Stalker, the television series, and this definitely has a Kolchak the Night Stalker feel. It also, you know, in terms of like the adventure game. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I forgot about this. Audio back up.
Senor, I have good news. We've found another one.
Excellent.
Okay, whoa, I guess let me just go back to the cover here. So that little bit right there, that ending bit, also the game just freaking just shuts off and closes, by the way. That little ending bit is sort of like a prelude to the next couple of next episodes that are coming up. There actually is a storyline that happens as the games go on. There is a story arc. You meet up with new characters. You know, like I said, the Ben Jordan games get better and better. That was like the basic game, and it was a very easy, you know, easy game. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think to, you know, flush the toilet paper. Thank you, Vic, for letting me know that. But yeah, like some of the, I do remember how weird the some of the puzzle solving was, like the idea of like starting the fire and like creating the spark and then like being able to carry the spark, throw in the stick. I that kind of like got back in my head and like, oh yeah, I remember this ridiculous one that was a little obtuse to figure out. But yeah, it's not a bad game. I think it's pretty good for, I guess, one of those, like, you know, uh, simple AGS games. Maybe next time I'll play the first one in the 5 Days of Stranger. That's a little bit of a longer game. It's not too long where it's like, it'll take me like days to finish. But it might take me it might take me a couple days, maybe 3 days. Maybe 5 days, who knows. Um, but yeah, I recommend Ben Jordan. I recommend the entire Ben Jordan series. The second one has some voiceover work in it as well. It's kind of like, I guess one of 2 parts. I guess he wanted to remake that stuff so it could be at least as good as the stuff later on. Um, uh, One of my favorite episodes of Ben Jordan, the one with the haunted house, where it actually does have a reference to one of my favorite books, The House of Leaves, is not voiceovered, but it's actually really good too. It has a lot of like, it introduces some of like Ben Jordan's characters that he would meet from in other adventures, and like they would like kind of like go with him to like eventually Ben Jordan is part of a group now, and he's doing paranormal investigations. I do dig the fact that Ben Jordan is like a sort of a college, like a recent graduate getting out of college, and he's trying to do what he wants to do. I mean, I did the same thing when after I graduated college, I wanted to get into filmmaking and like get into work in the industry, and I do to a certain extent. Now, but that's kind of that. Maybe that's why I sort of identified with that character. Yeah, check out the Ben Jordan series. When I come back, maybe I'll try my hand at the Chizo Mythos. It's going to be me reading a lot of dialogue, so just be warned. It's not as, I guess, it doesn't have that sort of audio aspect of Ben Jordan or even Downfall. Um, but it's actually a good game, and it shows that a guy like Ben Croshaw, Ben Yahtzee Croshaw of Zero Punctuation knows what makes a good game. So I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for joining me. I'm hoping to do a stream tomorrow. It's probably more than likely I'm going to be doing a stream tomorrow, and who knows, that's a Friday, so I can stay up a little later because I don't have to work on Saturday. Um, but we'll see, and maybe if I finish 5 Days of Stranger, or maybe I'll just do the second part of Ben Jordan. I'm not, doesn't matter which one I do. But yeah, like hopefully people watching can join me, and maybe more people watching later who watch after the fact can join me as well. But I will say good night, and yeah, thanks for watching the stream. Keep it tight. I don't know. I'm trying to make up my own catchphrases, I guess, but maybe I'll think of a good one. Put it in the chat in the comments if you can think of a better catchphrase. All right, thanks guys, and good night.